Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. Today's video I am gonna do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best budget smartphones, 2021. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. The Samsung Galaxy M42 5G is a big smartphone and bears some resemblance to the Galaxy A42 5G. The Galaxy M42 5G has a big 6.6-inch display with reasonably slim bezels all around. It has a dewdrop notch at the top, which Samsung refers to as an Infinity U display. The Galaxy M42 5G has a polycarbonate back panel which has a glossy finish that Samsung calls glass tick. The glossy finish is a fingerprint magnet and smudges are easily visible. The back panel of the Galaxy M42 5G is visually divided into 4 blocks, top to bottom. The top quarter has a solid black glossy finish while the color gets lighter with every block as you go down. The lower 3 segments have an additional fine dotted pattern that disperses light into different colors. Samsung has aptly named the color Prism.Black, while the other, lighter color option is called Prism.Gray. Samsung has picked a capable processor for the Galaxy M42 5G, and it definitely delivers. I did not notice any delays or stutters, uploading times were reasonable, and with 6GB of RAM on my review unit, multitasking wasn't an issue. The AMOLED display is punchy but the low resolution is the fly in the ointment. I found the display brightness to be adequate for indoor use, but outdoor visibility could have been slightly better. The in-display fingerprint scanner was quick to unlock the phone and never needed a second attempt. The Galaxy M42 5G managed to score 357,881 points in Antutu. It also scored 652 and 1,837 points respectively in Geekbench 5's single-core and multi-core benchmarks. Since this phone has an HD Plus display, it gets an edge in graphics benchmarks, managing 56 frames per second in GFX Bench Manhattan 3.1. Oppo has really nailed the slim form factor and weight of the F19 Pro Plus 5G. At just 173G and 7.8mm thick, it's hard to believe this phone actually has a battery and other components inside. The finish is pretty nice too. The plastic frame has a glossy chrome finish, while the plastic back has a frosted matte finish. The silver unit that I had for this review did attract fingerprints, but these weren't easily visible. The layout of the ports and buttons feels ergonomic, and Oppo has even managed to fit a headphone jack on the F19 Pro Plus 5G. The triple slot tray lets you use 2 nano SIMS and a microSD card. The display is a large 6.4-inch AMOLED panel with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 for scratch protection. The display looks sharp, colors are punchy, and the in-display fingerprint sensor is reliable. Sadly, it only supports a 60Hz refresh rate and nothing higher, which would have been nice to have at this price. Oppo has gone with a pretty popular budget 5G SoC from MediaTek, the Dimensity 800U. According to Oppo's website, the F19 Pro Plus 5G supports 4 5G bands, which isn't a lot, but is still better than some other more expensive Android phones. Only one configuration is available in India, which has 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. The Oppo F19 Pro Plus 5G also supports the usual sensors and satellite navigation systems, plus dual-band Wi-Fi AC, Bluetooth 5.1, and FM radio. The performance of the Oppo F19 Pro Plus 5G was predictably good during the review period. This Dimensity SoC is something we've seen before in numerous phones, and its performance is pretty solid for the price. Benchmark scores weren't too shabby, and the F19 Pro Plus 5G scored 343, 176 points in Antutu. Multitasking was generally snappy, but the phone lacked the smoothness and fluidity that you would experience with a high refresh rate display. Despite its name, the new Mi 10i has very little family resemblance to the Mi 10 Review or Mi 10T series, apart from the fact that these are all large, heavy phones. The Mi 10i is 9mm thick and weighs 214.5g. One thing that all the Mi 10 siblings have in common is their 6.67-inch screens, though the Mi 10i has a completely flat panel without rounded sides. There's a hole for the front camera at the top center of the screen, and it's slightly larger and more distracting than what we're now used to seeing. Point 3 finishes will be available: the glossy but understated Atlantic Blue and Midnight Black, and the much more attention-grabbing Pacific Sunrise, which has a matte finish and color gradient that moves from blue at the top, through white, to orange at the bottom. This is the version that Xiaomi will be using for its marketing push, and it's what I have for review. It does look somewhat like a beach or horizon landscape. I found that it isn't too susceptible to fingerprints or smudges, but that might not hold true for the other color options. Front and center, we have a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus, 1080x 2400, 120Hz HDR10 Plus LCD display. Some people might be disappointed that Xiaomi didn't go with an AMOLED panel. The maximum brightness is only 450 nits and color reproduction is limited to 84% of the NTSC gamut, which isn't too great. Still, I didn't have any trouble with everyday use, and the display is of a high enough quality for enjoying videos and games on. You probably won't feel that you're losing out on too much, especially if you don't like very saturated colors. One neat feature is the adaptive refresh rate, which can scale between 30 Hz and 120 Hz in 6 steps. According to Xiaomi, the panel will automatically match whatever content you're playing. For example, it will switch to 48 frames per second if you're watching a 24 frames per second movie. There's TV Rhineland certification for blue light emission, and you can not only choose your preferred level of color saturation, but also set the white balance manually. The OnePlus Nord CE 5G is a good-looking device and reminds me of the original Nord, especially in the blue void color. It is solidly built and feels comfortable to hold. OnePlus has managed to keep the phone slim at 7.9mm in thickness, and it weighs 170g, which feels lighter than some of the other smartphones I've tested recently. The Nord CE 5G is well balanced, and it is curved along the sides, which makes it comfortable to grip. You get a big 6.43-inch display with a camera hole in the top left corner. The bezels are thin around the sides and top, while the chin is slightly larger. The frame of the Nord CE 5G is made out of plastic, and all the buttons are placed near the center. The power button is on the right and volume buttons are on the left. This placement makes it easy to reach these buttons without needing to shuffle the phone in the hand. However, there's no alert slider, which has become a OnePlus trademark over the years. The SIM tray is on the left as well and can take in 2 nano SIMs, but there's no microSD card slot. Just like the OnePlus Nord, the Nord CE 5G sports some interesting specifications for its asking price. The big 6.43-inch AMOLED display has Full HD Plus resolution and a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is a big plus. It also has an in-display fingerprint scanner and Asahi Dragon Trail glass for protection. The iQOO Z3 is the first smartphone in India to feature the Qualcomm Snapdragon 768G mobile platform. Like many smartphones in this segment, the iQOO Z3 supports 2 5G bands, N77 and 78, but it does not offer dual 5G standby. The Snapdragon 768G is a slightly updated version of the 765G, which made it to several mid-range smartphones such as the Vivo V20 Pro and the OnePlus Nord in 2021. So, iQOO offering it in a sub-Rs 20,000 smartphone is indeed interesting. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 768G features an octa-core setup with one 2.8 GHz Kryo 475 Gold core, another 2.4 GHz Kryo 475 Gold core, and 6 1.8 GHz Kryo 475 Silver cores. Compared to the Snapdragon 750G processor used in many other smartphones at this price point, the 768G offers higher CPU and GPU clock speeds